Alright, so I'm going to explain my power setup. I've been living in a Honda CR-V for about a year now. And, you know, if you're going to be living in a vehicle, you're going to have to figure out a way to charge all your stuff. So, the power station I got is called a Montek X1000. And it's not like the most well-known one. It's not a Jackery or a Blue Eddy, but it does have the lithium polymer battery, which from the research I've done, and I've done quite a bit of research on these things before I bought one. So apparently what matters is the lithium polymer chemistry, because with a regular lithium battery, it's only going to be able to charge like 500 times up to like 80%. And now with the lithium polymer chemistry, it'll charge like 2,000 times up to 80%, or maybe it's 1,000 times. You gotta look into it yourself, I guess. But what matters is lithium polymer, as far as I can tell. I mean, you got to do your own research, obviously, but I did a lot of research on it. So when I was looking to get a power station, I just happened to stumble into this video by Hobo Tech, and he was reviewing the Montek X1000, which, you know, it's got a pretty cheesy name, but if you look at all the tests he was doing to it, it looks like the thing's like really good. And from what I can tell, with everything I've done with it, I have zero complaints. You know, it's made in China, but from what I can tell, it seems that like all of them are made in China nowadays. So it's like you can spend $4,000 or you can spend, you know, $1,000. I spent $700. I got a 1,000-watt power station with an 80-watt foldable solar panel, but I never used the foldable panel because, you know, at best it was pulling in like 60-70 watts. That's in like direct sunlight. And this is a 1,000-watt power station, so it was just taking too long to charge, and it was draining fast. And, you know, I've got a refrigerator running full time, so it was draining. The 80-watt panel wasn't cutting it. So I spent another about $200, and I got a 180-watt Bougerv solar panel, which I attached to the roof. I'll show you all this in a second. So I got a full power setup for under $1,000, and I have zero complaints. It runs everything I need. I don't need to be sitting in the sun 12 hours a day. I mean, I'm in Florida, so I'm usually just getting sun regularly. So I guess that's about it. I'll just show it to you now. So now I'll show you my setup. So now, this is the power station. Right now, it is bringing in 52 watts. It's got the DC out, 32 watts. That's the refrigerator running. You know, it's 69%, and it's charging. It's cloudy out right now, so it's good that I'm even getting 50-60 watts, because it's like it's about to rain. So now this is the 80-watt panel. Well, this is my laptop, but hold on. I'll show you the 80-watt panel that came with it, which I don't really use. Apparently there's a way to set it up parallel with other panels. I don't know how to do all that. So this is the foldable portable panel that came with it, and this, 80-watt foldable panel, at best it was pulling in 60-70 watts, which I think is pretty good for an 80-watt panel, but it's just not enough for what I'm doing here. I'm running a refrigerator and laptop and all that. So what I did was I spent another $200 and got a regular 180-watt solar panel, which is this. I just attached it to my roof rack with shelving brackets. That one's getting pretty rusty. I might have to switch that out. So I just drilled a hole in the side of it, drilled a hole in the roof rack, and Can you see that? I used just a bolt with nuts. The panel's already got holes down here, which I didn't realize till after I did all this, so I could have just attached it directly to the roof rack, but this is working fine. I don't really know why only one of those brackets is rusting, but they're just regular shelving brackets that you get at Home Depot. So there's the panel, and that panel works great. I mean, like I said, I'm pulling in 60 watts right now, and it's cloudy out and about to rain. So on this side of the power station, this is the AC out, which you got to turn it on by hitting that button there. There's a light, which whatever. Now there's a fan over here, and you can store all the cords in there, but I don't. I want air to flow through it. But you can see in there that's the out, you know, the outward pushing fan, and on the other side of it, that's the inward pushing fan. Let me zoom in. So yeah, that's that fan. Now this is all the DC power. That is my refrigerator plugged in. There's a couple of, you know, 12 volt 7 amp barrel ports. This is a 100 watt USB-C port, which charges my phone pretty quick, and apparently you can run like an Apple computer directly off it. You don't need the power brick. Here's the regular USB ports, two 18 watt regular USB, and then over here, this is the AC in. So if you want to plug it into a wall somewhere, then it came with an AC cord. You just plug that in, and I only did that the first day I got it, and it was charging fine, but usually I just use solar. So here's the solar. This is where the solar panel is plugged in. It's like this waterproof, some sort of aviation plug. But so let me zoom out. Now you can, the cord goes up through my sunroof, so I just didn't want to be drilling holes in the roof of my car. When it rained, I get a little bit of water in there. It's not a big deal to me. It's not that much. I mean, I just soak it up with a sponge, wring out the sponge, and it's really not bad. But so there's the solar panel going in. And yeah, this is Bougerv, and I mean, it's a 180 watt panel. I think it costed about 200, and it works great. So there's my refrigerator, which is not running now. Let's see, was there anything else I needed to talk about? Okay, so now this thing, it weighs about 30 pounds. So I've got it bungeed in. This is just holding the shelf up. But I bungeed it in everywhere I could, because when I first got it, I didn't think of that, and I made a turn and the thing went flying. And you know, it's a rugged thing. If you look up Hobotek's review, he throws it off the back of his truck and it's still working fine. So that's not the issue. The issue is this thing is 30 pounds, so if it falls off the shelf, it's going to do damage to those plugs, which it did for me. Like, it'll rip the plugs right out. So now this is the DC in on, this is a 2005 Honda CR-V. It's got a DC plug in the back. I usually don't even use that. I just use the solar panel. But if it's going to be raining for a week and cloudy for a week straight, which it happens occasionally, then I just switch out the solar. I switch out the solar plug with the AC, with the DC plug. So, you know, this will charge it directly off my car, but I try not to even do that. And supposedly it's not good for the power station to be leaving it plugged into the car. When you turn on the car, there's like a surge of power that is apparently not good for the power station, from what I've heard. So when I do charge it off the DC, I start up the car and I let it run for a couple of seconds, then I come and switch it out. I do not leave this plugged into the station. I just don't want to do damage to the thing. I don't want to be buying another one of these. I guess that's about it for that. So, yeah, can't think of anything else. So, I guess, I mean, the things, well, let me tell you what I'm running on it. So, I can charge up all my tools off it. I've run a vacuum off it, which was pulling a lot of power, and it wasn't even draining it that much. I've got a compressor there that I've ran off it, and it runs everything fine. I charge my phone, I charge my laptop. My lighting is just a headlamp, which I hardly ever have to charge. I've got some cordless headphones that I charge on it. And it works great for everything I've used it for. And, you know, like I said, the vacuum was pulling a lot of power. It was pulling like 700 watts, and this thing was handling it totally fine. And it didn't even take that much percentage off the battery. So, you know, you can spend whatever you want to spend on a power station, but I you know, I was going as cheap as I could with the best quality that I could. And like I said, the main issue is you want to get a lithium polymer battery. So when you look into it, look that up, lithium polymer. This little bird, he wants food. So yeah, the lithium polymer will last a lot longer, apparently, from what I've heard. So I guess I'll see y'all on the next one. Just when you get in a power station, look into the battery chemistry, and lithium polymer is apparently the way to go. It'll charge 80% 2,000 times. That's a long time. Apparently a lot of the other power stations just use regular lithium, and they're only going to charge up to 80%, like 500 to 1,000 times. So yeah, lithium polymer is the main thing. Anyways, see you on the next one.